that hand doing there? What is that? That destroys the illusion. What is that? Okay, just work with me here. Just work with me. We gotta not destroy the illusion. Hey, welcome to Monkey Time. My name's Todd, and we have a lot to talk about today. Carol, we got a lot to talk about. Here, I got to tell you one thing, though. This show's dedicated to all the people who have chickens and too many eggs. Wait. I hope I don't drop them. I hope I don't drop them, Carol. Don't drop the eggs. Oh, there we go. This is what my friend Carol, the director of the show, just gave me today from her chickens and ducks. Oh, there's only so many omelets you can make, right, Carol? Oh, so everybody who's got chickens, give them away. I love them. I'm going to give one of these to my, that's good. No, I didn't. So anyway, welcome to Monkey Time. Oh, that hurts. Okay, much better. Welcome to Monkey Time. We got to talk about so much today. Carol, First Friday's this week. I said it was last week. Somewhere, Carol, somebody froze to death last Friday. Because looking around, knocking at all the darkened gallery doors, I'm responsible for at least one death. How many cable access shows can say that, huh? First Friday wasn't last Friday. It was the 28th of February. But it felt like the end of the month, Carol, didn't it? It felt like it. But can we put up number 9? Number 9? Yes. The video exhibit I was so concerned that I didn't show you last week is extended until March 16th at Flanders. It's so good. Make sure you go. Go to Flanders for First Friday. Make sure you hit that if you didn't last month. And if you did last month, go again. You approach art, it's like, oh, cool art. Then you come back, you live life, you do something, you have some lovers, you have some sex, and then you go back to the same art. Oh, it's different. That art is different because I've changed. So you always got to give them a shot. That book you didn't like in high school, try it again. Shakespeare. Oh, what? What did I say? Kids, Shakespeare. What? Yeah. Oh, Shakespeare sucked in high school. Oh, yeah, try it again now. Carol says she doesn't think any high school kid's ready for Shakespeare. I think it should be illegal for high school kids to read Shakespeare. It ruins it, and it ruins all of literature for them. It should be against the law. It should be child abuse. Well, that may be, okay. That may be going a little too far. But, it should be illegal. Kids shouldn't be allowed to read Shakespeare. You should be like, you know what? No. Here, have some porn, whatever. Watch people's heads getting chopped off. But no Shakespeare. Actually, Carol, those are kind of the same. Shakespeare has a lot of fart jokes, a lot of penis jokes, a lot of vagina jokes. How do they deal with the vagina jokes in Romeo and Juliet, Carol, when they teach it in high school? They don't talk about them. They ignore them. And kids don't know that Shakespeare's making vagina jokes and penis jokes in Romeo and Juliet. It's true. All right. So anyway, let's go to the real stuff, shall we? Okay. Put up number 5. Number 5. So, did you see this today? Here, hang on. Let me get this for you. I'm gonna get this for you. Can you see that? Can you see that? No. Can you see that? Here. Can you see that top story in today's editorial? Pope scolds UNC system on funds. Art Pope is scolding the budget request for our flagship university system in the state of North Carolina. Art Pope's going, this is not realistic. Let me tell you what Art Pope thinks is realistic. $310,000 for well, let's put it this way. I don't want to say whoring because, whoring, there it is right there. But $310,000 for a cushy job for the employee of the husband of the head of the Department of Health and Human Services. Woz is her name. You've heard about this, right? I'm not even talking about the two kids Pat McCrory and Art Pope gave 80 grand to for a few months before they moved on to the Republican think tank circuit. Art Pope is crying into the paper and crying to the universities about, oh, your budget's unrealistic. That's just completely, with all due respect, that's just completely unrealistic. Oh. But Art Pope hadn't said word one about $310,000 going to the employee of the husband, the friend of the husband of the woman who heads the Department of Health and Human Services. Here, let me make this clear. That's how the Art Pope whoring chart. Woz is the head of the Department of Human Services, Health and Human Services in North Carolina. She's way in over her head. She's in way over her head. You can tell Woz is just way in over her head. Woz's husband employs this guy, and these people are all millionaires. These people are all millionaires, really. You know, really. Woz's husband employs this guy that Woz hired for $310,000 as a consultant. The Associated Press, and Carol, put on my Twitter page, if you don't mind, thank you. The Associated Press, and I linked to this on my Twitter page. You don't have to follow me, just go there. Yeah, there it is. T. Mormon, Todd Mormon, that's my name. I put my words to this, Art Pope's whoring chart. That's me. The Associated Press asked for the records of what this $310,000 did. The Associated Press did a public records request for any memos, emails, anything related to the job that this consultant did. He was supposed to be helping save money for the state. I'm serious, Carol. You know what one of his recommendations was? You're going to love this. You're going to love this. Meanwhile, Art Pope's, right. So the AP did this story about how they asked for, like, what did this guy do? Oh, so the irony that the AP points out is one of the recommendations to save money for the state of North Carolina, Carol, I kid you not, that this $310,000 consultant, who's a friend of both the head of the Department of Health and Human Services and her husband, and an employee of her husband, you know what one of his recommendations was? Don't hire so many outside consultants for excessive fees. I didn't hear you say anything, Carol. Did you drop dead? I did. The irony struck you dead. She is freaking speechless. Seriously. So Art Pope's whoring chart, now remember, Art Pope's whoring chart is very important. It's important to remember this as Art Pope complains about, universities wasting money. $310,000. Do you know what the AP found, the Associated Press found, when they asked for the records of what this guy did for that $310,000 over 8 months, Carol? 8 months. What did the Associated Press find? How many pages do you think they got? 3. 2 memos, the equivalent of 3 pages of double-spaced lines for $310,000. Carol says, I want a refund. Seriously. And here's Art Pope, who okayed this crap, and Pat McCrory's whoring, right? A cushy job for a friend of a husband of a woman who heads DHHS, the Department of Health and Human Services, which can't even get its crap together to give out, checks to people who need them for food stamps, right? Needs the feds to come in. And now Art Pope's attacking the universities. Oh, your budgeting is just completely unrealistic. But Art Pope's budgeting $310,000 for no work at all. Carol, he didn't send a single email to state employees. Or if he did, the Department of Health and Human Services didn't give them to the Associated Press in response to a Freedom of Information request. I wonder why. it's kind of funny. Art Pope whores out cushy jobs for friends who donate more. They're big donors. Did I mention? I left off in the Art Pope's whoring chart. I left off the fact that all these people, this guy in particular, was a big donor to Pat McCrory. Oh, right, I left that off. The Art Pope whoring chart. I should have been more specific, Carol, in my Art Pope whoring chart. But now here's Art Pope complaining. Okay, oh, yeah, next point. Okay. Okay. That said, that screamed. All that screamed at an ear-grating volume. It's really hard to defend organizations, colleges, universities like UNC when tuition costs go up and up and up and up, and you look at what the universities are spending them on, and they're spending them on administrators more than they're spending them on education. In other words, the cost of UNC tuition the rise in UNC tuition isn't coming about because of increased faculty salaries. It's coming about because of increased administrative positions and administrative salaries. Can you put up my Twitter page again, Carol? Please, thank you. I linked to an article from 2011 in the Washington Monthly. Administrative costs ate my tuition. It's right there. It's one of the more recent ones. There have been a bunch of stories over the last 5 years about how administrative costs at most universities rose so much faster than the actual cost of educating students. And when you look at what universities are spending on, the increase in what they're spending on administrative costs, new positions for administrators, Admiral Vice Provost, the second, junior, things like that. That's where your money's going, parents. The administrative bloat at most universities over the last 10 years is notable and interesting. So, Carol, I'm going to do it. I'm going to make you run screaming out of the room. I agree with Art Pope.
The day has come.
The day has come. I agree with Art Pope that university budgets need a closer look. Yes, but not from the Art Pope perspective. His perspective is kill all those Marxist professors, and you'll save money, by selling their bodies to horse glue factories. That's the Art Pope perspective. It's called satire. Don't sue me, Art. It's protected speech. Is it? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. So, no, but the point is that these budgets that the UNC, we should look very closely at them and compare the growth in administration costs over the last 5 years with the growth in actual costs associated with direct education. And you will find, I think, that the administrative costs grow faster. Why? UNC's tried to reduce that. They've hired consultants to reduce that. Meanwhile, they're all embroiled in some idiotic scandals. But, the point is, administrative costs rise faster than education costs, and you pay the tuition. The bloat in middle management across universities in the United States, middle and upper management in the salary increases and the number of positions has been noticeable, and many, many people have noticed it. The Washington Monthly article I link on my Twitter page goes into detail about this. Okay, next. What are we talking about here? Oh, put up number 10, the Oscars. Okay, so I didn't watch the Oscars. I don't have cable. I don't even have TV. I just, I get everything I need. My TV is a glorified DVD machine, right? DVD player. I don't even have it hooked up to, I can't even get PBS, Carol. It's just not hooked to anything. There's one plug coming out from my TV, and it goes into the wall. No, there's one going in the DVD player. That's it. But North American Video, one of the sponsors of the show, in exchange for the sponsorship, gives me some access to free DVDs. And Fruitvale Station is a docudrama. It's a dramatization of true events. Very true to life from what I've been able to read. Do you remember the shooting, Carol? Oscar Grant in the BART subway station in San Francisco a couple years ago, 2008. Young kid shot in the back while his hands were cuffed behind his back on the ground. He was laying face down on the ground, hands cuffed behind his back, shot by a BART cop, transit cop. Led to riots. Fruitvale Station is the station where he was shot. The movie, though, I know you're thinking, oh God, here's the monkey. Here's the monkey saying you should spend 80 minutes. And by the way, it's a really short movie. 80 minutes is the perfect time for a movie, Carol. 80 minutes. Short attention span theater. You are so right. 80 minutes. Because, we all work hard. We have kids, some of us, we work, we get home. I don't get home till 8 some nights. I'm not going to watch a 3-hour movie. I am going to pop in an 80-minute movie. Fruitvale Station is an 80-minute movie that is beautiful. I know you're thinking, oh, he's going to ask us to watch this tragic, horrible, dark, despicable, disgusting movie. But no, it's about love and family. Yes. Fruitvale Station. 80 minutes, tightly directed, quick. It feels loose and free, but it's really tight when you step back and look at how well it's directed. Oh, so good. And Carol, you know how many Oscar nominations it got? Zero. It came out, last April, Carol, you see. The Academy has a very short memory. And then a crappy, nonsense, poorly constructed, poorly told, very pretty, but still poorly constructed movie like American Hustle gets 1 million nominations and not a single Oscar, thank the Lord. I liked American Hustle. It was okay. It was slightly funny, but it wasn't all that, and it got praised to high heaven. Meanwhile, Fruitvale Station, a serious, important, and yet beautiful, very accessible movie about a family, love. No one's painted as a saint. Oscar Grant, the guy that gets shot and killed at the end by the cops, doesn't get painted as a saint. It's just about love. It's his last day. His last day. Yep. That's all it is. And it's about family and love and race and poverty and so much. And it's just this bam, 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 really quick, tightly edited little movie that also feels really loose and open and neat. And at the end of it, you are just stunned at how well they told the story of Oscar Grant's last day and the shooting that killed him. Really? All right, what are the other 3 topics? Coal ash. Put up number 6. Oh, another thing on my Twitter page, if you go to that. There's a link to an article. I think this might be another Associated Press article. I like the Associated Press, except the people at the top are conservative, but that's okay. Yeah, there it's there. Other states are already cleaning up coal ash. Remember, Pat McCrory's head of the Department of Environment and Natural Resources, the DENR, not to be confused with the DHSS, Carol. That's a whole other mess of fish. It's 2 stinking barrels of rotting fish. The Department of Health and Human Services under WAS and the Department of Environment and Natural Resources under McCrory's head there, whatever his name is, or something. He says things like, oh, all the environmentalists want, they want Duke to clean up every single one of its unlined coal pits. Oh my God, they want Duke to take every single one of the pits that leach all kinds of crappy chemicals into the groundwater. Unlined, monkeys, unlined coal ash pits. Unlined. This is how Duke's been getting away with it for years. Unlined. They just dump the coal ash into the ground and it seeps into the groundwater and nobody responds because they've been cutting the number of inspectors at the DENR for years. And Pat McCrory, when he came in, said, oh, we're going to do customer service. Did you read that New York Times article last weekend? Man, they went into all this detail. They found a ton of people from the Department of Environment and Natural Resources who said, we were told very flat out, do not enforce any of the laws. And so Pat McCrory's head of the Department of Environment and Natural Resources says, oh, those darn environmentalists, they actually want, ha ha ha, every single one of Duke's unlined coal ash pond collectors to be moved and lined into hard storage. And he's like laughing as he says this. This is completely unrealistic, right? And you're like, what? Duke's been allowed to just dump this toxic waste, and it's toxic waste. The feds, remember, Carol, we talked about this last week, right? Kay Hagan couldn't even be bothered to say coal ash should be treated as a toxic waste. She said, well, we need to look at the science. It's like she doesn't want to offend Duke's money. But coal ash is a toxic waste. And Duke, for years in North Carolina, has been allowed to dump it in ponds that aren't even lined with the bare minimum of things that stop the coal ash toxic products from leaking into the groundwater. Leaching into the groundwater, they call it. And so the head, Pat McCrory's head, says, oh, those crazy environmentalists, they wanted all of the Duke coal ash ponds to be lined or stored in some kind of safer storage. Yes. And if you go to my Twitter page, you'll see a link to an article that points out that other states are already doing just that. There's my Twitter page. Scroll down a little bit. You don't got to follow me. I don't care. I don't give two craps if they follow me, Carol. I do care if you look at my links. I do not follow people who don't post links, Carol. I don't. On Twitter, you ain't posting links, I ain't got your time. All right. So look at that article. Other states are already doing that. It is the bare minimum we can ask of Duke that they at least line their damn coal ash ponds. And if they can't do that, tough crap. And they need to eat that cost. And their shareholders need to eat that cost, not us, not the consumers. Some of the consumers are also shareholders, I know, but shareholders need to eat that cost. All right, what's my last subject? Council lunches. Yes, put up council. Oh, wait. Carolina Roller Girls are rocking. Lily's Pizza. I had a Lily's Pizza Sunday night when we watched another gay movie. It was delicious. Do you know the rosemary roasted potatoes at Lily's? Oh my God. If you've never had rosemary roasted potatoes on a Lily's Pizza, you are dying.
I like the Buddha.
She likes the boot. Carol likes the boot. Is that the one with pesto?
Yes.
Pesto instead of tomato sauce? Ed McKay. I always find good stuff at Ed McKay. Love him to death. Reader's Corner, that's where I work. Thanks to them for sponsoring. Remedy Diner. Good cheap food. What? Oh, yeah? Oh, you ate at Remedy? Awesome. Lump Gallery, Flanders. All right, so how much time I got? Look at this. Raleigh City Council has just started doing lunch meetings. Fine, but they're refusing to tell it before the regular meetings, but they're refusing to televise them. It's disgusting. You know what reason they gave, Carol, in the NNO article I read? They're upstairs and there's no cameras there. Really? It's a slap in the face to disabled people who can't visit. They say, oh, they're public, anybody can come. What about the disabled? What about the elderly? What about the poor who can't get off in the middle of the day to get off their jobs? Nancy McFarland and the rest of the Raleigh City Council is smack in the face of the disabled, the poor, and the elderly in Raleigh by refusing to meet in a room where Raleigh Television Network, that's this network, or one channel over, it's right there. Hey guys, the government channel could actually televise it. It's a disgusting slap in the face to the disabled, the elderly, and the working poor. Nancy McFarland, Raleigh City Council, that idiot we just hired as a city manager who can't see this? You're 2 stories up, you can't walk down the goddamn stairs to a room where the cameras are? Rah!